Hi, I am Tammy and I am Meditating Medium. I'm going to speak to you today about something that is very close to my heart and where I am, and that is being authentic. To be authentic means that it's a process, and once you get to being authentic, and we're going to talk about this, what that process typically is. This does not mean that this is set in stone or this is the only way to become authentic. I'm just going to talk about something that is close to me so that you will understand, giving you living examples of what this actually means. So once you reach authenticity, then that's when you actually start to change the world and you touch people from the heart. I think for me, I've always known that there were moments in time that I could have with somebody where I wanted to connect with them in a way that was unbelievable. And I'll never forget a story about I had a friend who had moved from Egypt. He was a professor at the American University over there, and he moved to Manhattan a month before 9/11. And he was struggling, and he was having a lot of things going on in his life. And I said, let me come up there and spend some time with you. Let me teach you how to live in Manhattan, because Manhattan is one of my favorite places. And the other place is actually Asheville, North Carolina, not too far from where I live. When I got up there to Manhattan, I stayed on the avenue, the Fifth Avenue, whatever the name of that main road is, where they have a lot of the parades. And he came to get me, and we were walking down to where the shoes were, close to Central Park, some of the stores. I'm a very, very much a shoe girl. And so we were going to look, and I was trying to tell him, you need to learn to live moments. Just take a moment in time and connect with somebody in that special moment, and then you will know what I'm talking about. You are living in the land in Manhattan of opportunities, of moments. We were walking down the street, and all of a sudden I hear this opera voice singing, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I stopped my friend and I said, stop, you're missing it. You're about to miss one of those moments. And he said, what are you talking about? And I said, did you not hear that guy singing opera? And he said, no. And I said, give me just a minute. And we just stood still for a moment, and the guy started again. And I looked across the way, and 4 rows over, this bellman was over there singing opera, and he was only singing like maybe 5 or 6 words or something like that. And as soon as he stopped, I started clapping, and when he looked at me, I bowed and said, please. And I just bowed to him and said, please give me more. And he just started bellowing. It's so touching, even for me to relay this to you at this moment, that I'm almost in tears, because I'm telling you, this man and I connected for a moment in time, and he gave me this beautiful gift. And my friend looked at me and went, what the hell? You're from South Carolina and you just got this New Yorker to sing opera to you. I said, that is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being authentic, connecting with people. When you start to understand who you are, and you start to become very aware of what you like, what you don't like, what makes you smile, what makes you laugh, what makes you feel good, what doesn't feel so comfortable to you, what things do you need to get away from, what things do you need to add to your life, what things are you interested in, really interested in. And I'm not talking about something where you're in a job or a relationship that's not necessarily the best for you. I'm talking about, what are the interests of your heart? What are the things that drive you? When you say certain words and you hear people asking you certain questions, what things really cause your heart to stir, cause your spirit to be moved, cause you to feel almost a little bit of an excitement about? These are the things that are actually in your true nature, that is inside of you, that you cannot really take out. Believe me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. You're just going to have to go back to it at some point. So you might as well be honest and truthful to start with. My definition of authenticity is somebody who has the integrity to be completely honest about who they are, about the truth of who they are and how they feel, without hurting mankind in expressing how they feel. Learning ways to express the authenticity of yourself to to the point and to the direction that it actually adds to humankind, to mankind, to somebody's heart, to somebody's situation. In being honest and having the integrity to be honest and speaking that forward, then it gets to a point to where you become more authentic. And as you become more authentic, you start to change the world. And you change the world by changing one person. Just connecting with that bellman and him connecting with me, even though it was for a moment. He was in tears. I was in tears. That was an authentic, real moment where just the two of us, it didn't matter how crowded the streets of Manhattan, that Fifth Avenue was. It didn't matter how crowded Manhattan was. This total stranger and I found each other for a moment, and the authenticness of me allowing him to be true to himself as a bellman standing outside the door, opening doors for people to come in and out of the hotel, was absolutely remarkable, and it has touched me, and it's something that I'll remember for the rest of my life. Billie Holiday said this saying one day, and it's a really cool thing that adds to what I'm trying to tell you about. And the quote was, "You can't copy anybody and end up with anything. If you copy it, it means you're working without any feelings." I remember when I used to sing a lot, when I used to travel and sing in churches and things like that, weddings, funerals, whatever it was that I did, talent shows in high school, I would always get really, really nervous. I would get scared to death, and I'll never forget what the guy who was the leader of my group told me one day. He said, "Tammy, when you stop getting nervous, when you stop feeling the excitement from it, is when you need to quit." And that's kind of what I'm talking about you being authentic. Before I go any further, I want to say that some of you are emailing me and you are giving me the most phenomenal stories. You are asking me some fabulous questions about what it means to be a medium for me, and I've decided that I'm actually going to share my testimony with you. I'm going to be authentic, and I'm going to share with you why I know without a shadow of a doubt that this is what I'm supposed to do. I have been fighting it for years and years. I have been doing readings for years, and my husband had no idea that I was doing them. I just told him a couple of weeks ago. I didn't really understand that in not really sharing these things with my partner in life, who I absolutely love and adore, who is a very supportive man, and not sharing those things, I was not really being authentic, nor was I really giving myself permission to stand in the power that I came into this lifetime to hold. To be able to stand in the power of knowing who you are, knowing why you came here, finding out what those passions are, finding out what your calling is, what you agreed to come here on this lifetime for, to help mankind, to help yourself first, and then to help those around you. And then as it grows and grows, it just goes out into the whole of mankind. And when you become authentic and you are really being honest with yourself and who you are, it is a process. We're going to go back just a little bit now. And let me just say that if you want to write me, you want to let me know what your experiences are, you want to let me know how these videos are helping you, you want to talk to me, or in any way just give me information about yourself, please write me at transformingspacesllc@gmail.com. Some of you are doing that, and it is really touching me. I'm going to share a story with you of a lady who I met not too long ago, and I ended up doing a reading for her. What I'm finding in the readings that I do is that most often my head is tingling even talking about readings. It gets so activated even talking about having a reading that it is amazing what ends up happening. That tingling in my head is something that I feel every single time I get in that position to actually reach forward to the spirit world, asking them to come forward and meet. It could be somebody that comes through that could be a grandfather begging for forgiveness for something that happened. It could be a relative. It could be a friend. It could be somebody that you don't even know that's coming forward that has passed but has deeply touched your life in some way, and they'll tell you what they did. Such as I had an example of one lady that her father had passed. I obviously did not know that, and her father came true and told her about a concert ticket that he had helped her to obtain, and she just wept. Getting the connection with the spirit world by having readings with mediums is a very cool thing to do. It is, and the reason is because it connects you with something beyond yourself. It connects you with something beyond the physical, and it helps you to become more aware of the spiritual side of things. It could be your angels or your guides that are coming through and giving you messages, and most often I get information about something that somebody is asking for in the privacy of their own thoughts, or they're asking questions and the guides just come through and say, you remember the question you were asking yesterday about such and such? The answer is yes, and you already know that. It's confirmations, it's information. And I'm getting way off, that's a whole other topic, but I was talking to you about giving this reading to this lady, and she has tapped in to the spirit side of herself. She has become very authentic and honest and open, and she has given me permission to share this piece. We ended up having lunch together just recently. Thank goodness she lives locally, and she's become a very good friend of mine. And she was asking me the question, how come I'm happy in my marriage, I'm good here, but I know that I would be good or happy without my marriage? And I said, that's because you're authentic. When you really understand who you are, when you really understand that you are not alone, when you get that there's nothing that can take you away or separate you from the spiritual world, because everything that we look at in this physical realm is so physical, it's so permanent. When something's taken away from you, or somebody dies, or somebody, what I call, makes transition, it seems so permanent. It's really not. And the spirit world is not a permanent thing. It is something that is completely open to everything conceivable. And when you tap into that by connecting with your higher self during a reading with a medium, then you start to actually understand who you are a little bit further. I said in my last video that I want you to start paying attention to how things make you feel. This is the beginning stages of being authentic and living an authentic life. When you start to pay attention to how a TV show makes you feel, how a movie makes you feel, how reading a book makes you feel. I used to feel obligated to read a book out of respect for the author. And now if I start one and I just feel this is not where you need to be, I completely put it down, or I give it away. Or in some cases, I've actually thrown it away because I don't want anybody else being exposed to the negativity that I feel spiritually in a certain book. Put it down. Be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Start to be aware of how you feel when you're having lunch with somebody, when you are having conversation with somebody, when you're driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of you. Pay attention to how that made you feel. And just allow the feelings to be there. Become a witness, not a judgment thing. Do not judge how you are perceiving, looking at life, or anything of the sort, or even another human being. Become a witness. And when you become the witness of things in your life, and you actually find things that disturb you, you can do that practice that I taught you last week. You can actually cup your hands and kind of blow into your hands, or you can do many other things to relieve that stress. There's lots of techniques that I use in my mentoring program, and if any of you are interested in that, just let me know. Okay, you start to become aware of how things make you feel, and then you start to act accordingly. I think the very first step is you actually start paying attention, and you're shocked that, oh my gosh, I've been going to this family reunion for years, and I finally realized this is how this person acts. I really was not paying attention to them all these years, and yet they've been right in front of me this whole time. That is the way that it is. You start to become aware, and you're kind of shocked at what information is being fed. It's almost like looking at life through an objective point of view, and you are seeing things and discovering things that you've never noticed before about your job, about your relationships, about your mom and your mother and father, about aunts, uncles, about coworkers, about people who walk down the street. Find opportunities, like I was discussing about Manhattan. Find opportunities to connect, to really be engaged. Get engaged in what is happening right this minute. When you do that, your life will change, and you will find opportunities to touch others, to be touched, to be engaged. in a process of anything that happens for a moment. And I'm